Okay, everyone. Today we're playing Napoleon Total War. Um, it's one of these Total War series of games, sort of based on Rome Total War, uh, Gunpowder Total War game. It's a little bit of an older game. It's about 10 years old, and actually on the newer computers, it actually doesn't run. So it's a good thing I have a little bit of an older computer, an older CPU. So we take a look at the battles, and take a look at the Battle of Arcole here. It was 15th of November 1796 to the 17th of November 1796, when he basically crosses the bridge, and he carries the tricolor across the river in person, and he prevents the escape of the Austrians and their planned relief of the siege at Mantua. Alright, so this is one of his most famous battles. If we look at this thing here, it's see, he's crossing the bridge over, he's carrying the flag. Let's see if we have to do that. I'm pretty sure we're not going to have to. Actually, I'm not playing this in real time. I'm going to play it off one of my recordings of the games, and we're going to see from there. And if we look at the battle map here, it's going to be sort of like that across the bridge to Arcole on the right side. So let's get this party started. I mean, I could play it again right now if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to go after my replay, and the reason why I'm going after the replay is it was pretty interesting to see how I did it, because it was one of the first times I played it. At least one of the first times I played it in 10 years. And I actually played this map about 20 times before I beat it. And the way I beat it, I saw some people talking on forums how to beat it. Of course, this is very hard mode. We're playing on the hardest difficulty here. And what we're going to see here is, excuse me, I'm a little bit cold. There's the town we have to take on the right side, Arcole, that we saw on the battle map. And here are all the Austrians. They're going to come with their gigantic army to go in and reinforce the town. Alright, I mean, there's a lot of swamp here, there's a lot of river. It's pretty bad maneuvering for Napoleon. And if we take a look at the order of battle here, what we've got is there's Napoleon here, the horses, and he has some grenadiers here. I mean, this is a replay, so you don't actually get to see the excuse me, you don't actually get to see me controlling the units and how I micro the units. I actually do a lot of pausing in the game because I'm pretty new and I don't really want to play this like a real-time strategy game, so I do a lot of pausing. And on the right side you have these revolutionary infantry. They're not very good. Let me lower the sound effect volumes a little bit. They're not very good because they're about as good as militia here. Yeah, so these ones here, revolutionary infantry, 160. If you zoom in on them and take a look at what they look like, they look like ordinary elite. There's different faces. It's soldiers of the French Revolution, working for Napoleon here. And you go over here on the left side, the horns have started. I mean, let's try and see some of these other types of units. Grenadiers. I mean, grenadiers are actually in the Napoleonic Wars. They're really tall. You pick the tallest, most imposing looking men that you can, like all 6-foot guys, and you put them all into a group of soldiers. So they're a little bit smaller unit size, 120 soldiers. By the way, this game totally fails to sort of talk about the the size and scale of this, there wouldn't be just 120 soldiers, right? For each one of these regiments, there would be thousands of soldiers here getting together to fight, right? And so it's a little bit smaller, probably because it's an older game to deal with it. I mean, there's mods to make it so that there's a lot more soldiers, but I'm not running with any mods here. Here we see the soldier. Hopefully I'm not mangling the French. These are the light infantry, so they would stand in sort of broken formation. They would fight a little bit in loose order. So because of the weapons of the day, they use these muskets. Their guns are very, very inaccurate. They shoot a musket ball. It takes time to reload the weapon. It's not like a modern firearm, right? So when they fight, they have to stand in lines like this. So they concentrate and stand in lines like this to fire. Now, if you look at how I'm positioning my units on this little bit of water here, this is when I first figured out that there's sort of elevation and height to this game, right? Now, the soldiers on the top will be able to shoot. Excuse me. So will the soldiers on the bottom. They'll all be able to shoot. And I thought that was pretty cool because you can actually get friendly fire in this game if you don't position the soldiers carefully. And there's no such thing as fire by rank if they're on the same elevation. What that means is if all the soldiers were beside each other, like this one right here, if it was the same elevation, exactly the same, they wouldn't be able to shoot, right? So you sort of want to have, for maximum firepower, you want to have them as long as possible, sort of a long line. So that's what I've done here. I've sort of put them on top of a hill. This is sort of an incline going down, so that when they start running through this marsh, and they run very slowly through this marsh, you saw my own soldiers run through how slow they went, they're all going to get shot. That's kind of the goal. Now I'm sending these grenadiers. Grenadiers are the 6-foot guys. They're the elite troops. Actually, they all look the same. Do they have different faces? Okay, they do have different faces. But I'm sending the grenadiers on the right side, and then here are the chasseurs. So the light infantry are going to grenadiers to this bridge. Now they're not going to storm across the bridge, at least not with Napoleon. But what I'm doing is I'm sending them into these trees here, these shrubs, so that they can intercept these soldiers, the Austrians, that are going to reinforce the town. If you see the mini map, you can sort of see that there's red dots here, and they're heading towards the town. And here are the Austrians here. They're marching. They're heading to reinforce the town, and they're going to get intercepted by my soldiers before they get there. I don't want them to reinforce the town because the town, what's happening here is I don't want anyone to go reinforce the town. It's the bridge, and it's hard to attack. I don't want any reinforcements to get there. Now, if you look at the where I position my artillery, this is something I haven't talked about yet. Excuse me. I put my artillery on this big hill here, and hills are the best place to put artillery, right? And this hill, I got the idea off a forum. I read a lot of forum posts about how to beat this map, especially on very hard. And then the artillery, the bombs are going to come down here and shoot. You look here, already one of them is broken, right? I need to destroy all of them before they start going across. I start storming the bridge, because if they can start shooting me for artillery when I'm across the bridge, it's going to be a very, very bad day for me, right? Alright, the fighting started on the right side. These light infantry, they started to shoot. They're shooting the muskets. You see 158. That's how inaccurate these weapons are, well, at least in the game. In real life, they're also inaccurate, but you see all these shots and only 3 people have actually died, 2 or 3 people. Most of these musket balls will miss. And now it looks like that the Fusiliers, their soldiers alive, they're charging my light infantry. Now I've set my light infantry to skirmish mode, so they're gonna run back here, and the grenadiers are gonna be in front. And the reason why you want the grenadiers to be in front when you're fighting is they're sort of 6-foot guys, and they're stronger. I don't know if being 6 foot makes you a better fighter, but it does in the video game. So they're sitting here and they're starting to fight. have here is I start to send in more and more excuse me, more and more grenadiers into the fight here. 82 left, so about 80 of them have died so far. They're stabbing each other with the muskets. They have a little bit of a sword and a musket. Now these Austrians are going all the way around the swamp, and they're coming around on the left side. And I've set my grenadiers to get ready for them to come. I mean, you see here, across the water here, all these lines of infantry are already starting to shoot. And they're getting shot up and killed. Excuse me. My computer lags a bit, so it's really hard to basically see them in real time. I think it's because I'm actually pausing the game. So actually this is happening because I'm pausing the game and I'm issuing orders to my soldiers. The pause commands actually get recorded, which kind of sucks, but whatever. Maybe next time I'll do a real-time recording. But if I do a real-time recording, I won't really have time to sort of talk about it, right? That's what I'm doing right now. If you look here, the Austrian soldiers, they've gotten totally routed. We try most of them. See, there you go. Shattered, winded, concerned, casualties the same. So they're routing. Routing means they're no longer on the field. Their officers aren't commanding them anymore, so they're running. They're not considered as part of the battle anymore. So they took too many casualties, they're getting away. That's what you're trying to do to win. You're trying to rout all the soldiers. Here they come here, they're shooting the soldiers here. More of these, and they're actually the worst kind of soldiers. Slang word, they're militia. So they're basically peasants with given a musket and a little bit of training. And they're dying very quickly, they're not doing very well. And there's also more land war over here. So that's what's going on here. They're fighting these light infantry here. Now here the soldiers are a little bit better. They're grenzers. They're grenadiers, the 6-foot guys. Their version of the 6-foot. Grenadiers in the Napoleonic Wars, they're sort of elite troops. So basically they're supposed to be trained very, very well. They can reload this gun really quickly. I don't know how many times they can reload in a minute, probably 2 or 3 times. Got that from TV, yeah. But in real life, I don't know how many times they can reload this gun. They probably can't shoot as fast as they do here. But you see, they're going here. They're doing the ramrod, push the gunpowder in, then he takes a shot, and he has to do it again. Right? So it's a very slow process. There you go. These ones are running. They didn't do very well against these elite troops. They got shot up. I tried to hide them inside this little brush here, the trees, just give them an advantage. But it didn't actually work. They're running the wrong way too. They're gonna get shot up even more. And these ones gonna shoot them too anymore. Let's take a look over here. These militia, they're surviving against the sliced infantry. They're not doing very well, right? They're just sort of running back and forth. These militia here, they're gonna come into this swamp, which is gonna be suicide, right? Because they're gonna run straight into these huge groups of fire. I mean, look at them. I don't know what they're doing here. They're sort of balling up together. I don't really know what they're doing here.
We have killed their general, sir.
All right.
They must break.
Where did I kill their general? So do you remember these artillery on the hill? They can shoot all the way across the map. And it's right over here. Their general is here in the town. One of the cannonballs probably shot it in the head. See, this star means the general, and the shot in the head. They're running. With their general a little bit weaker, their army should be a little bit weaker, right? It says active, concerned, confident, general dead. Now here is where I sort of don't do the ideal thing, right? These ones here, they start fighting. They charge, I charge too. I start fighting, charging. And then I send all my, I send these grenadiers in too. To go charge and fight. They're all stabbing each other. 6-foot guys killing each other. comes their general on their side, Albinsky. He's sort of on the horse. If the generals are closer to the battle, it inspires your troops to fight a little bit harder. Right? So I've got 3 grenadiers here, and it's fighting 2 groups, one group of fusiliers and the grenadiers. So fusiliers aren't as good as grenadiers; they're sort of just normal line infantry. So you call them line infantry, right? Because line infantry are the soldiers that are best drilled to fight. Excuse me, to fight in this kind of warfare with the muskets, right? So basically, you stand in a line and you shoot. That's why it's called line infantry. And I actually have no line infantry. So you see these ones here, they're all revolutionary infantry. So they're technically line infantry, but they're militia. Basically, they're not as well trained as normal soldiers would be. So that's why I'm playing like this, right? Because my grenadiers are really my only quote-unquote professional soldiers here. The rest, they have uniforms, but they're not really as good. These soldiers too, they're light infantry too, right? So they're meant to fight in skirmish mode. By this point, when playing in the game, I hadn't found out it was skirmish mode yet, right? So they're still sort of fighting in close order like this. It's a button you click, and then they all spread out, and they hide behind the trees and the grass, and they start shooting. That doesn't happen here because I didn't even know about that. So that's what's happening. And let's go back to these elite troops here. They're fighting. They're trying to assist for guys. They're killing each other. They're all screaming. They're screaming. They're fighting each other. They're stabbing each other. Actually, what I do here is I retreat because I need to pull my soldiers back before the reinforcements all the way out here. Large amounts of line infantry. See these fusiliers, three fusiliers, landwehr militia, and grenadiers. So a lot of soldiers are coming to kick my ass, and I have to run. So what I do here is I start running here. You see, my grenadiers, they're getting shot at. They're highly disciplined, so they're walking the line, right? And they're getting shot at in the back, but they're still walking. They're not bothering to. That's the kind of training they had. And you had to be trained like that to fight to drill, because of the technology at the time with these muskets, right? If you didn't line up all your soldiers shoulder to shoulder to shoot these muskets, you basically wouldn't hit anything at all because they were so inaccurate, right? So that's such a low rate of fire too. So my grenadiers are running back. I think I didn't set them to run. There's actually a run command. I'm not sure at this point if I've figured out how to make them run yet. So they're not running right now. They're just sort of walking back, and that's fine. Actually, when I started playing this, I basically, this is, besides playing the same map 20 times, I don't think I played this, right, in a very long time, or at least not even this at all. I'm not even sure, right? So this is sort of a blind play. So I didn't know I could make my soldiers run. I didn't know that they could basically, I didn't play the campaign, right? I just went straight into historical battle to play this historical battle. Alright, so all my soldiers are getting back. And this is when I figured out that you could line up your troops like this on the hill, and they could all take a shot. So what's happening now is, I actually brought my artillery. See, they're being pulled by the horses, and they move really freaking slow, really slow. I mean, it's called foot artillery, even though they have horses. I don't know why they can't sit on the freaking carts, and then the horses can just pull everyone. But apparently, the people actually have to stand there, and you see they have to push the cannons themselves too, right? So the horses are just there for a little bit of extra help. It's not horse artillery. There's actually a unit called horse artillery that moves really quickly, but that's not this here, right? This is just a normal 12 Iger foot artillery. I actually gotta look at that word. I don't know what it means. Let's have this go. But okay, everyone is running back, and they're gonna run back behind this little marsh here. And what I'm doing is I've moved one of my lines of infantry to the right side because the cannon over here is still alive, right? They've got one cannon here. I didn't bother to kill off the cannon. This was a mistake of my part. I should have kept shooting at it until all the cannons have been blown up, right? So the cannon is still shooting at me, and I'm putting my soldiers here, all the way over here, so that the cannon will shoot at this, and all my masses of lined up men here, right? I don't want them to shoot here. Here they come, the grenadiers. You see, they're walking away. I figured out how to make them run yet. So they're walking. And I'm lining up my artillery here so that when the computer sort of runs up and charges through the marsh. Now in the Napoleon Wars, at least what I know about them, charging straight on was actually done very, very often, right? Because it actually works quite a few times. You just charge, and if your troops aren't disciplined enough or good enough at shooting, you can actually charge and win. These ones aren't going to win, right? There you go, they start running because there's too few of them. But if you charge with, say, all those men, maybe you would reach it across, maybe, and you would basically beat all these guys sitting on the hill here. Who knows, right? So let's have this go maximum speed now. Wait for them to come over. I mean, it takes a while for them to come over here. I think it's going to be a few minutes to set up. Right, I got my cannon set up now, and I set it up to the maximum speed here, and they should be coming. There you go. See, all the Germans come. Austrians, not Germans. So the Austrians are coming here, and they're starting to move. They were invisible for some reason because they were hiding behind in the brush. Now you see the routed units, they're running. Now what I don't get is how come these 30 guys, they're routing? How come the general there doesn't make them join this, right? Well, that's too bad. The 30 guys are gonna run. They're not gonna fight again. They're too scared to fight, so they're running. And the general's actually dead. I don't know where. Look at all these horses. All these horses are dead there. I guess my artillery killed them all. And look at all the dead bodies here, man. If you look at what's happening with my artillery, I'm actually managing to hit a lot of them. Look, the cannonball comes in, it hits them, and a lot of them get killed. And then you see some of them get up from a cannonball, which doesn't make much sense. So they get hit by a cannonball, but they still get up. And I guess some of them sort of fall down on purpose, and they stand back up, and then they run back up in a line like that. Look at that. The cannonball hits, kills 20 of them. And already 10 of them have died here, 20 of them have died here. So artillery is very, very brutal back then. It's how Napoleon actually got famous. He used his artillery properly. It's called the Grand Battery. Basically, you put all your cannons together and you shoot them all at once. So, I mean, these cannons are sort of spaced out, right? So it's not exactly.
We've killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
The cannon. There was another general here. So one of these cannonballs must have hit the general, the horse here coming out. Now all of these are going to try and charge across. I mean, you're probably wondering why I didn't cross this marshy area and fight them out in the open. You can. I've seen someone basically beat this map on YouTube, crossing the marshy area, beating them normally like that, but it's when you cross the marshy area, see what's happening is they're getting shot by canisters. So my artillery here is shooting. Canister is sort of like a shotgun. It shoots a whole bunch of round pellets and kills a lot of people at really close range, right? It's very, very broken in this game. If you have canister artillery, you can basically rout these units very, very quickly. So here they come. Here's the final battle. They're coming across. The trumpets are going. All these people on the hill are shooting, and they're dying. They're getting shot in the face. And yeah, see, they're all getting shot. I don't know what the computer is doing. They're sort of going back and forth, back and forth. It's not a very good charge, right? I mean, maybe they're scared. They're getting pushed back. Or, and these ones actually make it. These ones, they make it to fight. They start this stabbing like this. But it's very short-lived. It's very short-lived. You see, basically, the cannonballs start shooting. They start getting hit by cannonballs here. Everyone's shooting. There you go. That as soon as the flag goes away, that means everyone's running. The officers are dead. They're running. These ones are running too. So everyone's running now. There's a small group of people left. These ones, these two. That one's running too. Now there's one more. Two more regiments left. 105 guys here. They're gonna get shot up really quickly. They're not gonna make it across the water. There you go. They're shot. Now these ones are also gonna get shot too. Fusiliers. I mean, in a normal battle, they'd be lined up, and these Fusiliers would be formidable, right? Because they'd be able to outshoot my militia. Alright, there you go. They're all dead. I mean, they're all running at me. Okay, and now it comes to start to charge across the bridge of Napoleon, right? Just like this picture, we're gonna basically send them across the bridge to charge and see what happens. We're gonna try to recreate that and see what happens. It actually doesn't turn out the way the way we want it, right? Because you know, you're gonna see in a minute what happens here. So let's fast forward. And I basically, everyone's ready to go, so I start sending them across the bridge. Now, I take unnecessary casualties here because I haven't destroyed the cannon. And the cannon is actually very, very dangerous. Even one cannon can ruin your day. You go here, I zoom in, 12 Iber foot artillery, they have this one cannon, and they're reloading this one cannon. And the one cannon is actually shooting at Napoleon himself because I sort of put him in the front. I didn't pay attention, right? And one cannon can actually kill 20 horses at the same time if it gets lucky. So as you see, what happens here is at this point in the game, even right now, I don't really exactly know how to make the soldiers march in column. They always see
our general is under attack.
General's under attack. See, 2 horses there. I haven't figured out how to make the soldiers march in what do you want to call it? In column yet, and it's actually something the French are very famous for. They're famous for marching in column, so they're actually marching in row here, and the cannon is here, right on the right flank of all these horses. So if the cannon got very lucky, it could kill 20 of these horses all at once and kill Napoleon himself. And that actually happened once in one of my playthroughs, which was hilarious. But I mean, here's Napoleon. I think he's a special. He's a special, I mean, you can actually, if you zoom in on him, you can actually see the unit that represents Napoleon. Right there, this guy. It's either this guy or someone else. I mean, he didn't wear this red, right? I'm not sure if he actually had a special, one of these guys is Napoleon here. There, one of that guy right there. The guy in the blue. The guy in the red right beside him would have been his aide, helping him. So let's see right here, where is Napoleon right here? We're looking at the trees. He's sort of hiding in the trees. It's pretty smart of him. Where's the actual Napoleon? This guy here. There's Napoleon. There's one of Boney right here. Boney right here. And this would have been just another general officer, probably his aide helping. But over here, I've got all my infantry, and what I did was I brought them up to avoid that one cannon. I brought them in this hill here. So you see, if you zoom in on the hill, what you see is this hill is sort of provides what's it called is reverse slope defense. Now the British were very famous for this, right? They hid their soldiers behind on the reverse slope on the back of the slope, and even in modern times, you sort of want to hide. It's a military tactic to hide soldiers behind the hill. So if you're hiding behind a hill, they can't see you, and you're sort of protected from their artillery fire, right? It's called a reverse slope defense. So I'm sending my cannon here to sort of shoot at that one cannon. I'm trying to get it closer. And once the cannon are in position, I'm going to start charging across the bridge, right? And I mean, it's a tiny bridge. If they put all their soldiers properly, deploy them in the right way across on the entrance of the bridge, I probably couldn't get a way across. I mean, this is the Napoleonic War, so there's no machine guns, right? There's muskets, and basically there's cannon with canister shot. So if you're very good at if you have very highly different disciplined soldiers, well trained, well drilled, what'll happen is they can charge and push their way through. So this is what the French were famous for. They march in a column and they can push their way through. This is what's going to happen right now. And Boney charging across the bridge like this. I mean, in real life, he didn't really charge across the bridge. What happened was the paintings are actually dramatized, right? Obviously. What happened was he was 55 paces behind the bridge, and the bridge is actually 55 paces. That's quite a far way away. I mean, if he stands up over here in this ditch, that's pretty much it. So who knows what the reality is? If he really did stand on this bridge and get shot at, that's a legend, right? And I'm sure if he didn't do it, he would have told people to paint him like he did it. But that's what we're going to try and replicate here. Got my artillery. Excuse me. And our artillery really takes a long time to set up. It's really easy to set it up wrong. And if you set it up wrong, all these horses, they have to go around, they have to pull the artillery again. It takes really forever. You see how slow you're moving? They're not shooting yet, even though I'm moving at maximum speed. You really have to have artillery set up before you march across, before you start shooting. So here they are, the soldiers. This guy is like incredibly brave at the front, charging across the bridge. Napoleon's not there. I tried to send him across. I mean, there he is. He's in the horse there and the traffic jam, trying to get across. And I used my artillery to shoot their artillery. They ran, and as soon as they lost all their cannons, they ran. So there wasn't even a fight. They ran. I mean, that's it, right? That's the end of the battle. Unfortunately, Napoleon's all the way back here. He didn't really. It wasn't exactly like the painting, right? It wasn't exactly like this, but close enough. I mean, the reality, the video game. You pick what's real. And let's see here. And actually, the reason why it happened this way was because I killed a lot of people. 450 people dead, 1206 enemy killed. Decisive victory, that's what it's called. In this game, if you get very little of your soldiers killed, you actually get a higher. It tells you won by more, right? So this is not my first time I played this. Played this map about 20 times. And if you see, go down here, 2 of Napoleon's horses were killed. And the losses were sort of spread around. If you look at my cannons, they've killed the most here. The light infantry here, they did very well. They killed 300 soldiers here. Excuse me. But yeah, basically that's it. And I beat this map on very hard mode. This is a very hard, and if I had known some more of the game mechanics a little bit better, like how to run, if I made a couple less mistakes like killing the cannon off earlier, I probably could have had a few less people dead. So this is the first video of a series. If you go back to my single player here and my Napoleon's battles here, I've actually beaten every single one of them on very hard. So I'm gonna I've recorded them all, and I'm going to, except for some of these boat ones, I didn't bother to record those, but I'm going to put them into a playlist and let people watch them. Okay, thanks for watching, and just remember, war belongs to video games, not in real life. The fantasy is here, it's not real. Anyway, see you later, thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast.